Welcome to Money Summit. My name is John Ogden. We're today with Chris Snook of Ethology. Welcome.
Thank you.
Uh-huh.
Great event so far.
Yeah, it has been.
You guys are interviewing a ton of folks.
yeah. It's one after another.
And you have like this product I totally want, but I won't push it too hard because I don't want it to sound self-serving for you.
Oh, good.
But I love what they're doing, by the way.
Thank you. So, tell us a little bit about Ethology.
So we're a customer experience agency, about 65 people and growing. About 20% of our portfolio is in the financial services space, insurance and banking. Most of the banking clients we have, our credit union clients, are in that 500 million to $1.5 billion under management.
Yeah.
And competing in a digital space where there's actually an opportunity as much as there is a challenge. And so we help them with that. We operate under 5 disciplines that you'd expect if you deal with a digital agency, but content strategy and creation, search, paid media, analytics, and then design and dev, full stack design and dev.
That's good.
So we start with the customer experience and we try an empathy map to where the best lift for the least amount of spend is, and then run like crazy.
Yeah, that's great. So, what would you say, as somebody who's in an agency, looking at the whole industry, what would you say is the biggest thing that banks typically aren't doing that they should be doing?
Well, and I don't know if they're not doing it. I think they're thinking about it. I think I've heard a lot of people over the last couple of days here at this financial brand forum talk about what they're thinking about. I think their ability to execute, some cases is constrained by compliance issues and things that they just have to deal with. But I think at the end of the day, one of the interesting stats that I saw on the Accenture table was 74% of banking customers view their relationship as purely transactional. Yeah. And I don't think, if I think through my own life, I don't do it for any reason other than it's, pain point to switch. It kind of works, pisses me off only a little bit. So I think a lot of that data is real, and I think the big opportunity that we're working with some of the smaller banks that we work with, but just in general is that 5% of the people actually feel like they're empathized with. So there was a 95% gap in how a client, meaning any banking customer, small business, retailer, whatever, feels that the bank actually even understands their needs. And I think that's a big miss, but that's also a monster opportunity. That's where we play, right? So we help think through what does that user need, how does that map to the audience intelligence data and the performance media you're running, but then more importantly, how do you map all that to your major business goals for the next 12 months? Because if you align the last two, but you don't have the user need aligned with that, you're just transactional. You're never going to win any kind of loyalty because loyalty is no longer to brand, it's to need.
Yeah.
And, so I think there's a big opportunity and a big gap that they're getting pressure from fintech and from, Amazon and Uber and all these players that aren't direct competitors, but have changed the way we think about payments.
Yeah.
Like I some of the most transaction stuff I do, I never pull out my card anymore. And, you don't either. Yeah. So what does that mean to a banking relationship? Doesn't mean it goes away, but it means that what I value in you is going to shift.
Yeah.
So
what should they do to increase the empathy? So it's not just transactional.
I think, the place to start is actually recognize that it's possible and to simplify it, right? What all empathy mapping really means is think about a point in the customer journey. Either they're your customer already or they're thinking about switching and you're in that sales cycle. They go through a certain journey, right? Yeah. And of awareness and of research and of discovery and of I buy from you and then I advocate or I don't.
Yep.
So depending on what point they are in that journey, there's certain content that's going to engage with them or not, and that content has to be relevant to their use or need, not something that looks slick and you think is kind of trending. It's got to be like, what is the real pain? We checked out this morning, perfect use case. So I bank with Chase for my business and my retail. I have several credit cards, Amex, whatever. We booked this room through an online portal, hotels.com, 2 weeks before the event, and so we used one card, and we booked it, and it took the first night out. We come here and we check in and they ask us for a card around incidentals. So Cosmopolitan does that. We give them the other card because I wanted to put the incidentals and everything on the one I get points for. Yeah. Didn't realize, because they didn't communicate it to me, that even though the money came out of my other account 2 weeks ago for the first night, that unless they swipe that card to verify that there's a disconnect between Hotels Portal, the bank, and Cosmo.
Wow.
Didn't know that. Why would I know that? Yeah. Not my business to know that. I'm just a customer trying to check in. So go to check out today and I'm getting triple billed. So now, here's the empathy part. What's the empathy map? So if I'm a bank, I think through, what does that feel like to Chris?
Yeah.
What does he think when that happens? Yeah. What does he do? And what does he say?
Yeah.
And so the real things are think, feel, do, say, like what in every touch point. So what I did, if someone was empathy mapping, they would go, what would we do in that situation? And take the time to try and understand if they were that customer, not they're the business, what would they do as a human?
Yep.
And so what I did was, which is rare, I actually went on Snapchat and I was pissed. So right, what I was thinking is, this is irritating because I'm working a trade show. Last thing I need to do is do someone else's job around checking out, and I don't want to fight a bill that I got triple billed for. And now I've got 3 different cards holding up that's going to take 7 to 10 days. So what am I thinking? I'm thinking, you have my money for 7 to 10 days and it ain't your money. I hate you. Hotel and bank and whatever. Your customer service person doesn't get it and isn't trained. That's a miss because this is a 5-star hotel. So what do? I go on Snapchat and I rant about it, and then I say, but it's okay, I'm happy, I don't complain. And so what I did was I put out social media to my influencers, which I rarely do, but I was so irritated, right? And so empathy mapping is how can I prevent that? Like, what are the things I could do as a bank to attract a customer like Chris and say, by the way, when you check into a hotel or a rental car place, we don't take 7 days to put it back on your card, we take 24 hours. Instantly I go, wow, that's interesting, because no bank does that. If I'm the hotel, I kind of walk through that same process. What could I say to Chris in that moment to explain it to him, but not just appease him and give him the same bad news, right? And so there's a lot of different pieces to the puzzle, and as a bank, you just got to go, like, when I do Uber, I don't deal with that stuff. Right now, I'm not saying Uber doesn't have other problems. What I'm saying is that, like, that's the expectation level that is there now. So hopefully blockchain and some of these other things that banks are absorbing, you know, will make trust not an issue, because I think the biggest reason is, as a business guy, I understand, Hotels.com doesn't trust Cosmo and they don't trust Chase. And so because they don't, the user feels that pain. So if we can remove trust with a new debit credit solution, then, you know, we all win, but who knows?
That's cool. Well, thanks so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me.